Hello, everybody. Today, I want to talk about real, true freedom. Are you the one deciding what to eat, or are your urges running the show? Are you deciding what to eat, or are your emotions running the show? Are you deciding what to eat, or are you letting comments from friends and family members dictate what you choose to eat? Are you the one deciding what to eat, or are your unhealthy automatic habits running the show? True freedom is not when your urges are pulling you to eat something that you don't even want to eat. True freedom is not when your emotions are running the show and you're eating based off of your emotions, based off of the stress, based off of the boredom, based off of the overwhelm. Then you decide what to eat based off of that. That's not true freedom. True freedom is not you're so worried about other people commenting on your food choices that you don't actually choose what you want to eat. You choose something because you want to avoid somebody making a comment. True freedom is not when you're running an autopilot and you're so used to eating at 3 p.m. when you're having a midday slump. True freedom is not when you're eating at night when your kids go to bed and it's just so habitual. That is not true freedom. True freedom is when you are the one deciding what you want to eat. It actually feels like you. You're like, yes, this is the real me. Yes, I actually really do want that cookie. Yeah, I actually prefer the salad, actually. Even though I've been working on my relationship with food and I know I can have the burger, I actually really want the salad. That is freedom of choice. When it's actually you deciding what you feel like in the moment. You're not worried about what your mom is going to comment. You're not worried about the urge pulling you to eat something that you actually are going to regret. It's actually you. You want the salad. You want the fresh bowl of fruit instead of having a cookie. Or you want to have the cookie. Or you want to have the dessert. Regardless, it feels like it's actually you, your higher self. It doesn't feel like your emotions are driving what you choose to eat or your urges or unhealthy habits. It's like, no, I'm in the driver's seat. I actually really want this food, and you go and you eat it. That is true freedom. So you have to ask yourself, are my urges running the show? When you feel an urge come on to say, F it, I'm already bloated, and then you grab the cookie in the pantry, instead of enjoying a nice hot cup of chamomile tea to actually soothe your stomach, that's not you deciding that. That is an urge. The real you would say, I'm actually really bloated right now, and the most loving thing wouldn't be to have a cookie. The most loving thing would be to have a nice hot cup of chamomile tea or a nourishing meal. That's not going to make me feel more bloated. But when your urges run the show, your urge is like, I'm already bloated. I already feel like crap. So I'm going to eat something that doesn't make me feel the best. That is not the real you. That's not your higher self. That's not your badass self. Your badass self is like, I feel bloated right now and I want to take the best care of myself. Let me go for a walk to digest. Let me have some chamomile tea. Let me have a beautiful, nourishing meal. That is self-loving. That is the real you. That is true freedom. True freedom is not your urges deciding what you should eat. Are your emotions running the show. This is a big one for so many people. Do your emotions decide what you choose to eat? When you're stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, you just end up finishing the last little bit of ice cream instead of letting yourself feel through the emotions, letting yourself process the stress, letting yourself process the overwhelm. When your emotions run the show, that's not you. I was talking to a client and she was like, I didn't realize that I was getting super overwhelmed about things that are happening over the next 2 weeks. And I drove and I went to go get donuts. And she's like, that's not me. Like, that's not the real me. But when you don't process your emotions run the show. When you don't feel through your emotions go through the drive-through. When you don't feel through your emotions go into the pantry. That's not actually you. The real you does not soothe with food. The real, true, badass version of you does not self-soothe with food. She processes, she copes, she manages her emotions without letting her emotions run the show. Are your unhealthy automatic habits running the show? So let's say normally 3 p.m., you have an afternoon slump, maybe you feel tired, maybe you're just bored at work. Do you automatically go and pull out a snack before checking in to see if you're actually hungry? That is an unhealthy automatic habit that is driving your behaviors with food, not the real you. Because the real you would check in. The real you would recognize, hey, this is so habitual. Every time 3 o'clock hits, I always feel like I need a snack, and you recognize that, you tune in and you're like, okay, let's be honest, how are you actually feeling right now? Oh, you're just tired? Okay, let's go for a beautiful walk. Oh, actually, yeah, you're not even hungry. It's just so habitual at this point. You don't need a snack. That's the real you. The real you does not operate on autopilot mode. The real you doesn't fall into automatic, unhealthy habits. The real you is so connected to your body. You recognize, because you're so intuitive, because you're so in tune with your body, you're like, you know what, actually? Nope, I'm not hungry. I don't need a snack. I just need some fresh air. I just need to let myself be. That's the real you. The real you does not mindlessly snack. The real you does not follow autopilot mode. The real you is connected to the truth of who you are, your body, your intuition, your hunger, your fullness. You're so tapped into your body, you're like, nope, I'm actually not hungry at 3 p.m. It's just autopilot. Or maybe it's autopilot for you at 8 o'clock at night. And the real you would not say, well, yeah, this is just what I do. You know, every night I have something. The real you would check in. Do I actually want something this evening? How am I feeling after dinner? Am I full from dinner? And it's just a habit, like I'm not even hungry. I just want to eat something. The real you would actually check in, would pause, would contemplate, would reflect. Do I actually want something? That's the real you. You're not an autopilot. The real you, the real badass version of yourself is like, nope, it's just an automatic thing that I typically do around 8 p.m. to unwind at the end of the day. And honestly, that's not me. So I'm not going to continue the automatic patterns that aren't serving me. That's not me. Are your family members running the show? Are you so worried about what your mom is going to say when you go over for dinner? Are you so worried about what a friend is going to say if you order the salad and you're like, I actually genuinely want the salad. But you think everyone's going to comment and think that you're dieting, even though you know you're not. You're like, I know I'm not dieting. But you're like, I don't want people to think I'm dieting. I don't want them to even make a comment. So I'm just going to have what everyone else is ordering. Everyone else is ordering pizza. And I honestly don't even want that. It doesn't make me feel good. I actually really want the salad. Like, that's what's going to make me feel so good. I genuinely want the salad. but you are so afraid of somebody commenting. You don't want to like stick out like a sore thumb. So you end up having the pizza with everyone else, even though you're like, honestly, I don't want this. I was talking to a client today on a coaching call, and I told her, I said, if nobody was looking, how would you eat? If nobody saw what you're eating, how would you actually eat? You would eat what you actually wanted to eat. You would get the salad. But you're so worried about what other people are going to comment that you dismiss your intuition, you dismiss your truth, you dismiss what you actually are craving. And so instead, you follow what everyone else is eating and you order the pizza even though you know it's going to make you feel like crap. That's not the real you. That is you being influenced by comments from other people, from your friends, from your family members. The real you says, I don't give a flying crapola if anyone else comments. I don't want the pizza. I want the salad, so that's what I'm going to order. Because the truth is that people are always going to comment. But are you abandoning yourself in hopes that somebody will not comment and they comment anyways? It's not helpful. The real you says, I don't care what anyone else is going to say. I don't care if somebody else comments. This is my body. This is my home. This is my temple, whatever you want to call it. It's like, this is my home. So no, I'm not going to eat the pizza if I know it's going to make me feel like crap. Just because everybody else is eating pizza and you want the salad, you order the salad. That's the real you. But when you don't have freedom of choice, you eat what everyone else is eating. You become a follower, not a leader. You don't tune into your intuition. You base your choices off of what you think people are going to comment or people are not going to comment on. That's not freedom of choice. That's I'm being a follower. That's I'm not listening to my intuition. I'm blocking my intuition and I'm just going to go and eat this. So when your urges, emotions, boredom, unhealthy habits, or comments from friends or family members dictate what you should be eating, that is not real freedom. Freedom of choice is I am going to eat this and not be afraid that an urge is going to pop up. True freedom is I'm feeling really emotional right now, so I'm going to regulate my nervous system before I go eat something. True freedom is I normally eat in the evenings, but that's not who I am anymore, so I'm going to stop that. True freedom is, this person's probably going to make a comment about me eating this, but I am going to choose to eat it anyways. That is freedom. That is what actual freedom is. When an urge comes on and it's strong, you say, no, that is not the real me. That's not the real me. That's not my higher self. That's not actually what I want. I desire to feel good in my body. I desire to eat foods that make me feel really good. And so you don't give in. That's freedom. Freedom is the ability to say no to an urge because it's not the real you. When you don't have freedom of choice, you just give in. When you don't have freedom of choice, an urge pops up and you're like, I don't have a choice. So you give in. Freedom is when you have a stressful day and you give yourself space and you breathe and you feel, you let out a good scream, you process, you feel. You don't turn to food. You process your emotions, you breathe, you feel, you heal. That's the real you. The real you doesn't open up the pantry and start snacking because she's overwhelmed. That's your emotions calling the shots. That's not freedom of choice. Freedom of choice is actually I'm in the driver's seat. I'm going to feel, I'm going to process, I'm going to manage these emotions because I know the real you knows that you're not going to feel better after grabbing some ice cream. The real you knows that you're not hungry. The real you knows that you're just coping. The real you just knows that you're doing an escapism practice where you're just going into the pantry or eating some ice cream because you don't want to feel. But the real you says, not me. I am choosing to feel, to process, and to heal these emotions. Freedom is when it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock in the afternoon, like I said, and you notice a reoccurring pattern. You're eating on autopilot. And instead of playing the same habitual cycles every single day, you say, you know what? I recognize I'm not hungry. This is just a habit. So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No, I'm actually not hungry. I'm going to go for a walk outside. I'm going to get some fresh air. Okay, you know what? It's 8 o'clock at night, and I recognize this is so habitual. Every night at 8 o'clock, I just have a snack. Even though I'm not hungry, I want to break that pattern. I have freedom of choice. I am in tune with my body. And you know what? I am going to do a self-care routine, or I'm going to watch my favorite show. I don't need a snack. That's the real you. Freedom is even though you're so worried that your mom's going to make a comment because you don't want the pizza that she's ordering, so you eat something different anyways, instead of making yourself feel like crap by having the pizza. You listen to what your body wants, even though there's fear and it's like, oh my God, what is she going to say? Or what are my friends going to think if everyone else is ordering pizza and I'm the one who's not? You do it anyways. You unapologetically eat what you're craving. You don't abandon yourself. You don't abandon your intuition. You're like, this is actually what I'm craving. This is actually what I'm wanting. That is complete freedom. Freedom is deciding what you want to eat, not your urges, not a comment, not your emotions. When you have complete freedom of choice, you decide what you want to eat. You decide what sounds good for you, not your urges, not your emotions, not comments from other people. You decide what you want to eat. If you want a smoothie for breakfast and you have a smoothie for breakfast. If you're like, you know what? I actually I'm wanting, like one of my clients, I'm wanting frozen pineapple instead of some ice cream. You have the frozen pineapple instead of the ice cream, and guess what? You don't feel deprived. That's freedom of choice. Freedom of choice is not always getting dessert. Freedom of choice is not letting anyone else sway your decisions. Freedom of choice is you are in the driver's seat. You are so tapped into your beautiful intuition. You know exactly what you want. You're not afraid of comments from other people. You're not afraid of urges popping up. You're not afraid of your emotions because you know that the real you does not act on her urges. The real you does not eat out of boredom, eat out of emotion. And the real you does not give a flying crapola about what your mom or your friends are going to say. The real you chooses what you want to eat because you want to feel good. This is complete freedom of choice. So I'm running a brand new program. Some of you guys already jumped in. I'm running a brand new program, Freedom of Choice. I'm going to help you be the one to decide what to eat. You're going to feel so empowered that no urge, no emotion, no comment can sway your decision. You're so tapped into your body, you know exactly what's going to feel good for you, and you enjoy it unapologetically. You're in a body that feels so freaking incredible because you're no longer comforting yourself with food. Food feels easy because you can choose a healthier option without an urge popping up. You can choose the salad over the pizza and an urge doesn't pop up. You can come home from a social event feeling so freaking proud of yourself because you actually ate what you wanted to eat at the social event, regardless of what anyone else was thinking. You won't care about your aunt's comments. You weren't care what anyone else is eating. You're like, this is what I want to eat, and you enjoy it. That is complete freedom of choice. When you know how to master this, when you know how to eat without your emotions, your urges, or comments swaying your decisions, that's when you have complete freedom. If you are still basing your decisions based off emotions, urges, or comments, that's not freedom. Freedom is you're in the driver's seat. What do I feel like? What sounds good? What is my intuition asking me? That is complete freedom of choice. So I am fired up. If you want to free up the space in your mind, because here's also the other thing, when you are eating based off of what your urges are making you eat, or what your emotions are making you eat, or what comments from other people are making you eat, you think about food so much more. There's so much noise in your mind. But when you're tapped into your intuition, you're like, this is what I want to eat, and you just eat it, you don't think about food all day long. You're not worried about what should I be eating. You're like, this is what I want, and you just eat it. It's easy, simple, effortless. You make quick decisions. You're not thinking about food all day long. This is freedom of choice. So this brand new program is starting at the end of the month, and you get to join now at pre-sale, but not for long. Right now it's on pre-sale. So I will leave the link down below. Some of you guys already jumped in today, which is so exciting. This is freedom of choice. Freedom to tune into your body so that you actually make decisions, because there's nothing worse than eating ice cream and you're like, that didn't even taste good. That wasn't even me. Oh, I did that because I was emotional. There's nothing worse than, eating extra fries even though you don't even want them. You're like, that was my urge. There's nothing worse than going to a party and forcing yourself to eat pizza even though you don't even want it. That is not freedom of choice. I want to help you get back to feeling like you again. The real you, feeling incredible in your own skin, making the healthiest choices. That's actually the real you. This is freedom of choice. Having freedom of choice changed my life. It's not food freedom, it's freedom of choice to decide. Not your urges, not your emotions, not comments from other people. You, the real you. It actually feels like, yes, I made that decision to have the ice cream, so I don't feel bad about it. Yes, I actually chose to have fruit over a cookie today. Yeah, that was actually me. And it feels so empowering. It feels so good. You feel so confident. You're in a body that actually feels like yours. You go to bed feeling proud of yourself because you are the one that actually made the decision, not anything outside of yourself. So I will leave the link down below in the show notes to join this program, Freedom of Choice. It's going to be an extraordinary program. There's going to be multiple trainings with me. There's going to be Q&A opportunities. It's going to be a full brand new program with me, and I'm so fired up and I'm so excited to help you have complete freedom of choice. So I cannot wait to see you inside. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye guys.